look back at what happened in Afghanistan and hold people accountable. Not to be retrospective, not for retribution, but to understand what went wrong and why there was no accountability for it. Those types of things are examples. But I just appreciate the service so many of you give. I know so many people watching. It's the honor of a lifetime to come alongside you. No one will work harder. No one's going to be attempt to be more transparent with the American people and with you. We do want to hear your feedback, and we're going to hit the ground running. And I'm grateful to President Trump for his leadership. We're going to rebuild the military and focus on the troops. So I'm happy to take any questions anybody might have. And you can ask questions. It's okay. I think there's a microphone here and here. If you want to come up, sir, to the microphone so everybody can hear you. There's one right here. Yes, sir. I'm going to grab a water.
Thank you, sir. Rich Laurier, Air Force A-10. You talked about deterrence. Do you see the department becoming more aggressive, more assertive in the gray zone to further deter China and Russia?
It's a good question. Thank you very much for your time. I want to echo what the chaplain said. All glory to God. I wake up every morning praying for the wisdom to see what is right and good and true and the courage to do it. And I know many of you do the same. And it's an absolute honor to stand in front of all of you. I'm grateful. I'm humbled. Just the 2 weeks that I've been here is a solemn reminder, in a couple of instances, but a solemn reminder of the very special nature of what the Department of Defense does. And I've seen it in the Office of OSD. I've seen it across so many I've had a chance to interact with, and so many more I want to interact with. The solemn commitment to the constitutional duty that we all have to protect and defend the Constitution. That one administration leaves and another administration comes in, and that can mean a lot of changes in the course of that based on elections that happen and new leaders and new executive orders and new directives and lawful orders. But what I've been so incredibly impressed by is the professionalism of the men and women throughout the ranks who recognize who we work for, which is the American people and the defense of our nation. So I want to thank everybody watching, everybody here for a part of that, being a part of that transition, which I've certainly recognized a great deal. I spent a lot of my career in the military, which is not as much as so many of you, trying to run away from the flagpole as quick as possible. Now it appears I am the flagpole. I recognize and understand that distinction. But what I want to bring to this job and to the ethos is a recognition of the men and women who do the dirty work all day long for us here and across the world. Every time I speak, or every time in my previous profession I was on television, and I got the bright lights and spotlight and people are looking to me, I always step back for a second and think about the men and women that I served with. The folks that are never going to be introduced, never going to have a microphone, never going to be heard from, the men and women that you know that you've served with who are the best of the best in our country. That's who we serve. I was on the phone late into the night last night talking to families of 2 soldiers who had a rollover at Fort Stewart. I was on the phone with the families of the 3 that were lost in the UH-60 outside of the airport here in Washington, D.C.